Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm still playing BIOS Origins. Now, this is probably the last video of the series, and kudos to the ones of you who actually really watched this stuff. I probably wouldn't, to be honest. I think watching this is, for me, it seems really like a pretty boring experience. But you never know. I sometimes watch playthroughs of other people where the normal guy just says, "Oh my god, how can you watch that stuff? It is so boring." Anyways, so what's kind of interesting here is that we have that throughout the game that that green is really ahead, and he had he was clearly running away with the game, but now it's not totally clear anymore. It still is in a way. I would still bet that he will win this game. I cannot really see a way for the others to do so, but at least it's a little closer now. If Orange goes on culture, and by the way, we just have here one more card, one more epoch card, and then the endgame scoring can be triggered. So if Orange goes on culture, and he has one prey action, and sadly it's just one. So if he brings another guy in here, and then he can increase his footprint by 1 with this action, and after that he can do a negotiation action, which will allow him to bring the energy 1 step up, which gives him then a bonus energy advance, or a bonus advance which is non-energy, and then he could advance his footprint a second time. So that means he would then be here at 6 and here also at 6. He would have had 12 points here, plus 5 points in here. That would be 17, and another 2 points here. So that would be 19, right? Okay, nice. And red or green would be at 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 6 is 13, plus 5 is 18. I find that remarkable, to be honest. So it seems like it could be actually possible for yellow to win the score, for orange to win the scoring here, and then he would be at 18 points, right? Let's see where green is right now here, which is probably his... Is it? Yeah, because this is not scored because of the philosophy, so that means green would score this probably, which is probably better. He would be at 8 plus 7. Now that is not that much. That's only 15, and then he gets another 3 points here. So he would be here at 18. So if I remember that right, green was here. He could have managed to get here, and the orange player could get here at 19, while green could only reach 18 points. That sounds too good to be true. The problem is, indeed, it's not going to be like that. If red does an invention action here, then green will get a Eureka effect, which allows him to increase his energy, and then he gets 1 non-energy advance, so he can actually push this up here. And that's a 2-point jump, right? So that means he would have 3 points here more And that is 21 then against 19. So it's no longer 19 against 18, but now he's at 21 instead of 18. And that's kind of a shame. Apart from that, the thing is, it's not that likely that, if he takes, for example, if he goes for an epoch card now because he sees that, oh, I could win there, then it's not that likely. I mean, it is possible that he basically then triggers the endgame scoring just to piss off green, right? If he would be in a winning position, just to say, hey, you see that, you were all the way in the lead, you made it through the whole game in the lead, and now you're losing. Of course, these things happen, but, and he could do that. I mean, these two guys, the yellow player and the black player, they are at best now in a kingmaker position, right? I mean, if they decide they want orange to win, they can do that now. They could simply say, okay, I don't do an invention action here, and then orange can do the epoch card, and after that white could do the scoring, and then indeed orange would have won the game. I think that might be an issue in this game too, the king-making position. You have that in many games, but here, when the end of the game is can be determined by other players, when there is no, or when the end condition of the game is triggered by the players and not by the game itself. And it's done in a very simple way by just grabbing a card and saying, okay, this is it now. It's not like, okay, if this and this happens, the game goes on for 3 more rounds. I don't mean that. If you can basically end the game immediately by simply doing a very simple action, then you can end up in this kind of kingmaker situation, of course. And some people, they might just do that because they don't want to continue playing, because they don't have a chance to win anyways. So, hard to tell. So I think what I'm going to do is I will basically play in a way that it's best for each player and not, and I'm not helping others or so. So I'm going to do, wait a minute here, let's see what we got. So I've got an artisan action, or a negotiation. I wonder which is better. I think black does a negotiation. I wonder if he can reach white, and yeah, he can. He's got a high merit team, and he's got 7 energy. So basically he can reach pretty much every area here on the it can go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or something. He could even go to Australia, but basically he can reach all the other players here in Southern Asia. So he can choose which whom he wants to negotiate. And I think his choice is white. I mean, they are the ones who are behind. So that allows him to... Why does he want to do that? I mean, this area isn't scored anyways. Interesting question. I could also play a bellwether. All right. And maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe I want to play a bellwether and say, you know, but I think that brings the advantage even more to green. If I kind of change this here, you know, I could say, okay, I want this in one of the other areas, but does that do me that much good? I don't think so. Now here's the funny situation for black. I'm actually considering messing around with the philosophy a little bit and playing a bellwether because, you know, I'm behind everywhere, right? I'm in a really bad position everywhere. The question is, where am I best? Where am I scoring the most points? I'm doing pretty well here technology-wise, but I'm really bad in diversity. I just have a single point there. So basically I could score, we're talking 13 points right at the moment here, because I don't have any points here either. So it's 13 points here. Here I could score the same amount of points, also 13 points, and I have no option to pray or something, so I cannot increase this mysticism. So this is 13. If I score here though, I could reach possibly more. Right now I'm only at 13 too, but no, actually I'm at 14 because of this. So right now I have 5, 9, and 2 is 11. No, it's 13 points. Okay, great. But I can build a couple of cities. Boy, I don't know what to do. You know, I really don't know what to do. I'm in such a bad position. It's frustrating. It really is. You know, I don't know if it changes things a lot, but I'm gonna play one of these cards and move this by 1 step. So the reason is I still get the auction bonus, which I might have forgotten a couple of times, to be honest. I think I did forget that. I still get the auction bonus for being an industrial society, but now this is scored. Does that help me? I don't know, but it's the only category where I can somehow score points, or where I can increase my points, right, by building cities. Here there's no way for me. There is basically also no. I can only do it here, and I'm last anyways, so I might as well do that and say, okay, I'm gonna try to grab a couple of more points. So first I want to do a negotiate action now, and I'm gonna do that with white, I guess, although it doesn't really matter. That allows me to increase this by 1. White can go up here, and next I can invent, and yeah, this is now the question, you know, do I really want to do that here? The volcanization, why not? I might want to do that. So I'm going to take these cards back, and we see now green and orange both also getting the Eureka. Chemical processes used to harden natural rubber by linking with sulfur revolutionized the industrial world. Volcanization has grown to include the hardening of synthetic rubbers via various means. Okay. Now black will spread, and I think he's going to go here, and then he has the option with one of the following actions, this one here, the prospect. He can build now a city here, grab the sugar, So that's what he does. And eventually he can, well, he's already there with the maximum. He can do another negotiate action. Now, the only thing where he can actually, it's hard to tell. He might consider negotiating with, maybe with white. And it's really not easy. He's here now at 12. That would bring him then to 13. Maybe that's not even so bad. So yeah, I think I want to do that. I want to negotiate with white. That allows me to remove one of my chaos guys. So that brings me to 2 diversity. It's another point. And I'm really ahead here when it comes to technology, right? But or I might, you know what's even better? I think I don't want to give away my chaos. I think what's even better is if I negotiate with orange, because then I can move this up. This gives me 2 points. And orange, well, they might go here. And I got now here 12 points plus 1, that's 13, plus 3, that's 16. So it's surprisingly high, actually. It's not that bad, but we'll see. We'll see how it continues. I doubt that that there are a lot of people who can, that there is anybody who can win it without, except for green. But we'll see. Now it is orange. And he cannot challenge the gods. He doesn't have that option because he has nobody out there. This goes down, by the way. And he will do what we thought of, right? He brings one guy here to mysticism with a prayer action. Then he can do an invent action, and I'm considering leaving one guy in free will, maybe to do, if I get to another if there will be some other round, which I doubt, I might have the option to do another prey. So maybe I want to leave one guy in free will, and I think I'm going to place one here. That might score me a point as a eureka effect over here in the maritime track. I'm so far behind here, you know, it won't do me much good, but I don't know what else to do right now, to be honest. Okay, next. Even this becomes kind of interesting now, depending what happens. If there's a disease or any kind of crap, who knows? Maybe the cities of green might be reduced as a last action. These things are hard to tell. Okay, now we can spread. And I'm going to have the option to build one more city. So let's see. Where do I want to go? I don't know. It's I can domesticate. So we need some kind of animal. So I think I want to spread here. So I can grab the aurochs cow there. Okay. Next, I can do exactly that. I could domesticate or cultivate. So I'm going to grab this aurochs here. So I'm sitting here now at 5 points. But technologically I'm doing a little better than green. I have 2 more points here. And I have 1 point less here. So basically, I need one more city than green does. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that's not going to happen. Okay, let's see. What's next? I could preach. And I'm better than green. Holy moly. You know what? I can do that. I can preach that city here. So I think that's something I want to do. Let's see what we can... I mean, we're pretty good here. So I think I'm going to steal that city from green. And hey, this is looking even better now. So there we go. I didn't realize that. Now the thing is, if there comes a disease, I don't know if there is a real chance for that. You know, I haven't calculated through it. Depends. But I think it is possible. I think the diseases say if the urbanization is greater than the immunology, something like that, then lose half your cities. That would only affect green. That means he would be then down to 4, and I have 6 cities. So I would maybe then win this game. It's a crazy situation. I would love to see that. Okay. Oh, holy shit! Look at all these things, and now it comes up. You know, if I can do a vaccination action, I can bring this up to 8. Now I might be even in the lead here. We're talking 14 points, 16 points, and another 6. That's 22. That's awesome. Green is at 10, 13, and 8. Green is at 21. So if there would be a scoring right now, I probably would win the game. That is quite incredible. Now I still have a negotiate action. Now you know what? I'm actually considering negotiating with black. And that means I can move this guy 1 space up, which gives me again a bonus non-energy advance. And now I can move here. And I got 2 more points. And now I'm clearly in the lead. Black can... Well, black can... What can he do? This is, for him, it's not that easy. I mean, he might also say, okay, we're going to bring this up. And maybe, because green has such a weak immunology, maybe there is a chance that green will actually not win the game. I think white will challenge the god. He's really far behind. It doesn't help him a lot not to do so. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough decision for him. But he has the most guys out here. And so... I think he might want to do it. Why not, right? We don't want to play this on forever. I think white will challenge the gods at that point. So let's see what we get. Okay, this is social conservatives. So first, and I did that wrong last time. There is a crisis here, and I kind of blew it. I thought that means cooling. It looks very similar. Cooling is kind of a snowflake. And this is a crisis, I think. The crisis is... What that triggers is determined by the philosophy here. So now it's this event here, and that is a civil war. I think a civil war affects people whose number of dissidents is half or greater than the number of diversity. That would affect the black player. He's got one dissident and one diversity. Oh, it's not half, it's equal or greater than the diversity. So that would affect only black. But I'm not totally sure about that. I'm going to check that. I was nearly right. It's not an automatic revolution, but it's 2 chaos. So that means this guy suffers 2 chaos. So, oh gosh, there's no migrant on the board. So I think he has to destroy a city instead. But I gotta check that too. So yeah, that is actually correct. He's got to destroy a city. And that sucks for him, obviously. So I think he will destroy this one here. And that means there's gonna be a refugee now, which he takes as a dissident. I think that's what happens. So now he's got, and he's got to take another chaos, right? So he's got to take another city, and that means he gets another dissident, and damn it, I'm not totally sure. I think because we cannot place this guy here, I think instead he stays here, and these guys, and now we have a revolution. I think that's what happens. So the city destruction was necessary because we needed another dissident. We could have now taken this guy. Oh, actually, that was here, right? We could have now taken this guy and placed him here, but because that was not possible anymore, instead, he remains on the map. If I'm not missed, I think that's what happens. And then we have a revolution. That means now this guy goes to a... first he has to quell the remaining 2 dissidents, which means he has to destroy his last city. So for him, that was a disaster, right? And there will be a refugee left here. He cannot... I think he even has to remove another migrant. So destroying that city was the first thing he did. And I think now the last thing he can do is, or he has to do, is taking away a migrant, because there is nothing else he can do to quell the dissident. So first you have to either destroy an elder or a city. And if there is none of these left, you have to take a migrant instead. I think I have that right. So then we will have a revolution. That means the lowest there is only one foundation. So this foundation goes now here. This becomes the new ruling class. He loses one idea because that has no political orientation. So this idea goes away, but the others will actually stay just on the other orientation. Yeah, of course. Okay, so it's just like this. Now, obviously for him, that is pretty bad because he has lost all the cities. That was kind of his last hope now. And he's down to a single guy on the map. Okay, then we got a rightist dictator. Now that means this card will not be auctioned. Instead, it goes to the guy with the highest mysticism. Okay, this is clearly this guy. And now he receives this card. And what does that mean? Well, there is the Eureka effect here. That cannot be applied because he already has a metallurgy of 6, and that is a purge effect. But first let's read this text here. A social system based upon a state religion, duty, family, and traditional values with many controls or intellect, disunity, free speech, and protest. Disunity, free speech, and protest. Okay, I think what happens is that now that his ruling class is cultural, he has to take this card, and the foundations in this ruling class, but only in the ruling class, are purged. So that means he will only have, I mean, he's kind of lucky that he only has a single foundation there, right? So he now ends up with this card instead of this. And I think that's all that happened here. So maybe that allows now yellow to build a couple of cities. I don't think that, or white, I don't think that there is a chance that he'd come in second anyways, but at least he'll come in probably before black. Although not even that, I think, yeah, not even that is totally sure, but I think so. We'll see. So first I can migrate. So let's see, I can prospect, cultivate. So where do I want to go? I could prospect down here, for example. So I think I might want to go here. I got a energy of 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, I cannot even reach that. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I cannot get there. That sucks. But maybe from here it might be possible. So if I start here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, that's no problem. I can get there from here. And let's see what else I can do. There's not a lot here. I mean, that's interesting, you know. What I could do is, I could actually do a library action and score another point here. And I think I want to do that. I'm going to remove 5 pawns here. I don't get a big advantage out of this card. So I'm going to remove 4 of my guys. And they go back in here. And that scores me a point here. So I made it to the telegraph. And by the way, I got a diversity of 3. So I think there is a chance that I might... Oh, look at that. Damn, I'm not even so bad in here. That's interesting. I might come in second because of this, but I'm not sure about it. So let's see. Do I want to do a science? Oh, actually, I already did the invent. Okay, great. So I can now spread a second time. And I want to do that. Just to have as many options as possible. The question is, where do I want to go? I said I can do a prospect action. Technically, I could build 3 more cities. That is pretty impressive. So I could wander around here and build a city right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can actually do that. I can go here. That's sweet. Okay, great. That is interesting. So now I can, let's see what I can do. Yeah, I can cultivate. Okay, great. So I'm going to build a city here, grab the Kolzar or whatever that's going to be. So I'm gonna build a city here. Next, I can do a negotiate action. Cool. And so, that's important, right? Because I can still score a couple of points. So I could negotiate, for example, with orange. And I think I want to do that. So what is... Yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to score a point here. And then I can advance again a second time. And I'm going to go ahead here one space. Orange, what does he want to do? Well, that's hard to tell. He could go ahead and ships, or he could remove a chaos. I don't think it matters much, to be honest. So, no. I think I'm going to go ahead and ships a space. Fine. Now I can do a prospect action, and I will do that down here. I can build, for example, I can grab the diamonds here. And last is I can do another prospect action. I wonder if I made a mistake there. Well, I think it's interesting. Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Thing is, instead of a prospect action, I could increase my energy to 7, which I already did. So I wonder if instead of doing this, when I did the negotiation with orange, you know, what I could have done is I could have moved this pawn here instead of doing the negotiation here. And now I can increase my energy level and in this way push this to here, which is even better because I think it gives me one more point. Sadly, I cannot build a city, but that gives me 2 more points, right? Building a city would have given me just 1 more point. So yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. I cannot build that second city. Okay, this is it. This is my turn. And now we got to check. Now we got to count. There is now there is here. This is the last card out there. So now basically anybody can trigger the game end or can end the game at that point. The question is who's going to win, and this is the tricky thing. So here it's orange, I think. He's got 6 points plus 16, which is 22 plus 2. Yeah, so orange here is at 24 points, if I'm not mistaken. We're talking 6 plus 16, that's 24. Green has only 10, 18 plus 3, so he's at 21. Here it's clearly orange. 24, that's a lot of points. Here green has 8 and another 3, so that's 11 and 7. That's only 18 points. He's not going to win there. Holy shit. I thought that was a clear victory for him on the diversity side. It isn't. On culture, green is at 21, which isn't bad. But it's not the 22 he has to beat here. So just want to make that sure I'm not... Or was it even 24? That's 16 plus 6, 22. Yeah, that's 24. That is more. Damn it, I didn't expect that at all. What is he going to do against that? I don't see any options. He is cultural, so he doesn't have that many actions left. I just don't know. He can do a preach action to score another point over here. He can do an invention to grab a point here. Maybe that's what he wants to do. It will push up his... Can he even take the card? He might be able to. Although I don't think he has oil, and he also doesn't have uranium. So he cannot claim the airline industry. He just gets 2 more points there. That's something. I think he wants to do that. So he takes this for an invention action here. Probably. The problem is, if he does that, he has to destroy one of his cards. That's a problem. That's even worse, I think. I don't know if I want to do that. I cannot build... Holy moly. I'm in a very, very bad position right now, to be honest. I don't know what to do here. Maybe I'm not even going to do that. You know what might help me is if I take this card. The manure fertilization. Feudalism in the Zhou dynasty featured intensive agriculture fertilized by manure from farm animals as directed by the government and ruling nobility. Because that gives me one of these actions. I can build another city, I can increase my footprint, which doesn't help me at all. Shit. Oh boy. At least it allows me to build another city. So we'll see. I mean, I don't really know. I have no idea what else to do here. Okay, so we're gonna grab that. And well, I mean, oh, what was the Eureka? I think it didn't do me any good either. No, it doesn't. No effects here. Okay, I can spread, which is something. And I can build 2 more cities. The problem is that might not be enough. I can cultivate twice. I can actually build 3 more cities. And basically I can cultivate and domesticate. The problem is I only have a single spread action, so I can only build a single city, which sucks. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to do a domesticate action right here. Grab the water buffalo there, and I can place an artisan somewhere, maybe trying to, I don't know. I really don't know what to do here. It just sucks so hard. I don't know. Can put him here, maybe that, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Okay. So this is it. So black is again in a weird situation. He could play this bellwether card and move this back now so that this isn't scored anymore. It doesn't terribly help him, actually. It doesn't help him at all. So therefore he is probably again in this kingmaker situation. He's not going to play that card. Instead, what he's going to do is he would try to score a few more points, probably here in the politics category. That seems to be his best. So let's see what we can do. We could spread. Well, technically we can spread twice and build 2 cities then. So I guess that's what I want to do. Yeah. Well, actually I might be able to build 3 cities. So if I spread, let me see what I want to do. I have, okay, I can do 3 times prospect. So I can move 1, I can 1, 2, 3, 4. And with my second spread action, I want to do well, I could move 1, 2, 3, 4. And my ships are good enough. Oh, actually I have 8, so no problems here. Okay, these were my 2 spread actions. And well, then I can, well, sadly I can only build, if I want to do the, I see. So I want to do the vaccines. I want to, because that gives me 2 points. So instead of building 3 cities, I can only build a single city or 2 cities, but I get 2 more points that way. So I increase the oh no, I can't do that. That only goes up to 4. Look at that. So I cannot. Okay, so I can use this action instead to simply build a city. So this one goes here. Okay, this is tricky. Just a second. Sorry for all that. I'm not gonna spread twice. First, what I'm gonna do is, instead of spreading with this guy, I will do a negotiate action. So I'm gonna negotiate with orange. And that allows me to move this guy here. That gives me 2 additional points. And orange can, for example, do this and increase his aircraft. That gives him 2 additional points, which is nice. Then I will not do the second action. I will spread, and that's what I already did with this action. And now I have the option to build 2 cities. And I'm gonna start here with my first city. Ah, fuck, I can't do that. Oh boy, that sucks. I can't do that because I need a requirement of 5 here, which I don't have. God damn. Well, it seems I'm... Oh boy, this is frustrating as hell. Well, I cannot build 2 cities then. It seems I can only build a single city then, which is going to happen here. Well, that was bad luck. That was really stupid. I don't fulfill the requirement. I'm not at 5 yet, so I cannot build my city here, and there is no other place to prospect, but I cannot but I can increase my footprint by 1. That's this decision here. So with the first one I could have done a prospect action. The second one allows to increase my footprint. And I think this is pretty much it. I don't know what else to do here. I think I'm done. It's a shame, but yeah, it's can't help it. And now it's orange, and they're gonna trigger the end game. That's the last one. Immediately final scoring. So that's what happens. So let's see what we got, and it seems pretty obvious that black is best probably here, because they got a technology of 16 here. +1, +1. So that means black has 18 points, and they don't get anywhere near here or here. So black has 18 points. That's it. Okay. Orange has clearly more. Orange has 16 points, +6 is 22, +2 is 24. That's probably his best. Here he doesn't reach that. So that is, I think that was 18, that's 24. White is also doing not bad. They have 14 points, +7. That is 21. I wonder if they can score more somewhere else, but I don't think so. No. No. So they are at 21, 24, 21, 18. And green is not doing well. That's a little tricky now. Green has here 14 +5 brings them to 19, +3, that's 22. That would be second. Over here it would be 9 +3 is 12, +6 is 18, +4 is also 22. Okay? And here they are at 8. Let me recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. They are at 8 +3, that's 11, +7 is only 18. So believe it or not, Orange managed to win this. 24, then in the politics, then it's green. They're scoring 22 in the culture. White, I think that was 21, also in the politics. And this guy is at 18, and I think that's also the politics. And it's really interesting because in the end it was the immunology which cost Green the victory. He was 6 points behind there. That's a lot. And yeah, he couldn't make up for this. Nowhere. Even though he had more cities and a couple of more victory points, it wasn't good enough. So that was clearly totally unexpected. And I'm glad it turned out that way, to be honest. You know, we've seen a surprise here. I think that's a good thing, that it's not that clear that there was this runaway leader thing for quite a while, but in the end, you know, things changed, and yeah, I think that's a good thing. So let's talk a little about this one. It's interesting. You know, in a way, that's a typical Phil Eklund game, and in its good and in its bad ways. So basically, what usually happens when I play a Phil Eklund game, I'm really fascinated, captivated by the theme, by often interesting, innovative mechanisms, ideas. Sometimes, well, let's call it, I don't necessarily want to call it truth to science, right? But it's definitely a scientific background that shines through. And all that leaves me really, I mean, you have all these rules which are super complex, and they give you often a lot of different options, and it's really overwhelming, and you half of the rules are basically footnotes which just explain the science behind the game and all that. And that really leaves you in this kind of state of awe, you know. You just think, wow, this is a great game, this must be fantastic, and there is so much into this, and wow, Phil Eklund must be such a clever man and such a genius, and this is also fascinating. But then you step back from the game, and somehow it doesn't really feel that great. And that is something I experienced with all Phil Eklund games, I guess. I think the one that most worked with me was Neanderthal and American Megafauna. And I played a lot. I played Lords of the Renaissance. I played the first edition of that one. I played a couple of the Pax series. I played Greenland, High Frontier 2 editions. The BIOS series, the first one, the second one. So I really played a lot Phil Eklund games. And I nearly always had that problem. I think I can say I always had that problem, that at first I was totally fascinated by the idea and by this, by the theme, and by this ambitious designs of his. But after playing, I always stepped back and I had a feeling, I don't know, something here is wrong. And the funny thing is, you don't know what it is. At least I usually cannot really tell, because the rules are often so complicated written, and the designs are sometimes so weird. Then you have all this science which makes it somehow seem to be legit, and it's like reading a super complicated philosophical book or something. And when you close it, you get a feeling, okay, something might not have been right here, but I have no idea if it's the book or if it's me. And that's what I feel after playing these Phil Eklund or Sierra Madre games in general. Same, by the way, with John Company and all these. So it's always that feeling that, okay, somewhere there might be a flaw, but is it my game? Is it the fact that I play the wrong strategies? Or is it, do I play the wrong strategies? Do I simply don't understand the rules? Or is the game simply flawed? And honestly, I usually find it extremely hard to tell. And I would say, basically, I cannot tell it probably with 90% of the Phil Eklund games. I think there are a couple of games that have a real issue or that are just pretty stupid. Maybe not a couple, but I really despise Genesis. I think that game is is really bad. Sorry to say that. I think this is a pretty bad game. But apart from that single game, I cannot tell if it's the games or if it's me that I just don't get them. And the same applies to this one. However, I played the first edition of that, and I think the first edition was pretty bad too. The things on the card were very similar, but I think on the map they were very similar. But I think the card mechanisms of the third edition, of the first edition, and also this strange cube managing and all that on your player sheet and all that was pretty broken and boring. And he got rid of this stuff, and now we have a game which offers so much more. And you got all these things in the game, right? You got the technology, you got city building on the map, you have war, you have your development of the brain, you have a philosophy, you have things like dictators and genocide. There is so much in this game, and there are so many options. Is it not a masterpiece? Is it not something that you have to love? It's hard to answer for me. After I played this now for a couple of hours, and after I played the game before 4 times against a real opponent. The problem is we played it only 2-player. And I always had a runaway leader in these games. This one here, I thought it's exactly the same. And I thought before, hey, maybe in a 4-player or multiplayer game, it's different. Well, during the course of the play, it seemed like it isn't. And we had again a runaway leader. So I really thought, okay, probably the game is, at least at some point, broken. But then I got a comment from a viewer, and it was just after the last video, after part 8 basically. So there was just this video to go, and that was a very insightful and clever comment, which showed me where I made important mistakes during this gameplay. And not so much rules-wise, but strategy-wise. The thing is, and I didn't realize that, it is possible to slow down other people, or the runaway leader who has basically total map control or large map control. And we've seen that here. The green player had large map control, and he had 6 of these diversity things. So it seemed pretty obvious he would win that. Well, we could have done something against that, especially if we would have worked together, the other 3 players. We could have attacked him. Okay, usually we were not ahead in metallurgy, but still, we would have caused chaos and dissidence. Because if you attack someone and you have the same metallurgy, both players lose and both players will get a dissident. Now I thought, okay, why would I do the attack then? Because it hurts me too. But the thing is, you can do it. You can do these attack actions, and after them you can negotiate with some of the weaker players, and you can get rid of your chaos again. And if, let's say, 2 or 3 people attack that guy, this will be all these cool foundations that gave him quite an advantage. They will be pretty soon filled with dissidents. And even though he might be, it might be possible for him to somehow get rid of some, or maybe one or two, by doing a negotiation action or something. And I don't even know if he had that option. I think if you are in the majority, you can get rid of these dissidents simply faster. So in the end, it would hurt him more than it would me. Because first of all, he would accumulate more of them because he gets attacked from a multitude of players. And then it's going to be harder for them to get rid of them. And that is an important strategy, a really important strategy that I didn't really understand. I didn't see how deep this can change the course of the game. Now, apart from that, and that's at least the same interesting point here. It's at least as interesting as the point before. Apart from that, Green didn't even win. That's the crazy part. You know, it seemed so clear that Green would win this game. But he didn't. It was, in the end, orange. And so, you know, it seemed to be a runaway leader, but in the end, it wasn't. So therefore, one of the things that I really disliked about this game, and where I really thought, okay, there is a flaw, this is the runaway leader, it seems something that can be avoided. And so that was probably simply my mistake. There is one more problem. I don't know. Maybe, you know, the game dragged on quite a bit for a while. You know, basically he was the only one to challenge the gods. But that might be exactly the case because he was always in the lead. If that would have not been the case so much, if other people would have attacked him and things would be a little more, or would seem a little more equal, then I guess maybe also other people would have challenged the gods and the game in general would have gone a little smoother and a little quicker. So again, what do I think about it now? Well, I say I have to play it a couple of more times, especially multiplayer. I think as a two-player game it might be problematic, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure about that, to be honest. Maybe kind of a variant could help here a little bit. I don't know. But in general, I think just, you know, as I said, I have to play it a little further and all. But I think now this might be actually a real masterpiece. I would say that. The game has so much depth, but it's not overly complicated. The game starts with quite a limited number of actions, but then in every epoch you get some additional things going on. So it's not, you're not totally overwhelmed at the beginning of the game, right? And you have so many things. As I already said, you know, technology, climate change, catastrophes, revolutions, the development of the brain, war, religious conflict, dictators, it's all in there. And that is fascinating. It really is. And it's not just an abstract Euro. It feels, it feels pretty thematic. It's not the kind of civilization game that Seven Ages is, for example, which is more of a war game and therefore maybe a little less abstract. This is a little more on the Euro side, but it is still none of these totally abstract Euro games. It feels very much thematic and it all makes sense, So in the end, I would say, I guess this is really a fantastic game. I think together with Civilization and with Seven Ages, this is the best, civilization game that I've played until now. And these two other games are very, very different, right? So it's really, you cannot say this one is better than, I don't know, Francis Tresham's Civilization, for example, because these are simply totally different games. But this one is a fantastic civilization game, and I think it is probably also Phil Eklund's best game. At least that's my personal taste, of course, but I played a lot of them now, and yeah, this is the one that to me makes the most sense, as a whole package. It seems to work better than everything that I've played from him until now. Yeah, so that's all I can say. I messed up a couple of things here, and I'm sorry for that. Maybe I'll come back to this one day. I think I will. And maybe I'm going to do another playthrough with some deeper insights, and then I guess it can be more interesting, and we don't see that domination of one power during most of the game. So maybe then it's a little more entertaining. Anyways, thanks for staying with me for so long, and hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.